I figured I'd use my 5-minute Ignite here to talk about a question that I get asked quite frequently, especially at these events and other things, and that's, how do you get a data analytics project started, and how'd you do it in Indiana? And so we'll get started with that. Where do you start? How do you pick something that's meaningful and that will create an impact to your state and its citizens? But you also have to pick something that will gain strong support from the top, because as you go through the process, you're going to face a lot of tough challenges, and that unfailing support is the only thing that's going to get you through. So as an example, here are 4 key use cases that Indiana chose to tackle, and you can see from these themes that we took on big issues and issues that we knew would have a great and impactful return for various reasons, which I'll cover briefly. Let's start with infant mortality. That was a problem that lingered in Indiana for years. Experts had their assumptions, and we continue to try to solve the problem by throwing more funding and resources into the same programs year after year with no change in result. Recidivism was and continues to be a hot topic across most states. Policymakers have now become involved in an effort to help prevent jail and prison overcrowding. The media is also starting to pick up on this as the overcrowding issues and in terms of the cost to citizens. Opiate abuse was unfortunately a cover story for Indiana and shed a very bad light on our state. Hence, attacking drug abuse and creating a cross-agency task force became a key priority for our governor on his agenda in very short order. And then unemployment, demand-driven workforce, is a powerful element to explore. It not only impacts citizens' well-being directly, but it also impacts the state's educational programs as they continue to produce graduates and new entrants into the workforce. So now you have that perfect bulletproof use case. Many of us, including Indiana at first, think that that's all you really need to do, and now everyone would just magically work together for the greater good. But unfortunately, that is not the case. You still have more work to do. You still have 4 remaining key obstacles that look like this that you need to plan to encounter and overcome in order to achieve success. Just getting that buy-in from the top isn't going to help. You need to work on getting the buy-in from your partners that you're going to need the support from as well. So legal is going to be your first obstacle. You're going to find that your partner agencies may not put forth the effort truly required to vet their statutes and policies to find creative solutions to share data with you. You can combat and mitigate this in several ways. A data or privacy officer with a legal background and that really likes to read statute is the best solution. However, partnering with your public access counselor and getting him or her on your side is a strategic move as well. Your next roadblocks will be political. You'll find that certain partner agencies will simply be afraid to share their data with you due to the fact that they think it will point out some shortcomings in their processes or perhaps portray their body of work in a bad light. So you can combat this by educating them on the process that is data science. Make sure they understand the project's going to help them in ways they may not have thought before. And also be sure to clearly state that it's not an exercise to measure their performance. The next roadblock everyone is familiar with would be financial. And I actually think when people hear the term data analytics or big data, I think this is the exact image that pops in their head every time. And it's true, there's a substantial investment required for an analytics practice, but education and creating an understanding that this is an investment in a new way, both technologically and culturally, of decision-making going forward, and that the investment is not just a one-time project. It'll lay the foundation to use data-driven decision-making going forward. And lastly, your final obstacle is technical talent. You may realize you don't have the talent in-house to do what is needed. And secondly, you're going to have resistance from some key individuals that have been in your agency for a while once you start bringing in this outside talent. So you need to combat that with effective communication and change management. As the new talent and technologies are introduced, you need to make certain that the existing subject matter experts still have authority and still have very much a say into what's occurring as they learn. Okay, so you have the use case, you overcome the 4 main obstacles, everyone's all in, nothing's going to stop us now. However, there is one last piece of advice I got to share before closing, and that is, don't be this guy. Don't take the data and run. And what I mean by that is don't do all the things I just mentioned, run all of the traps, clear all the obstacles, get everyone on board, and then go off on your own completely to do all the work and take all the credit. Otherwise, you'll meet this guy. Make sure everyone involved gets credit, gets something out of it, and makes their business or their processes better. Make sure they get their cake, Otherwise, you will have some adversaries that will focus all their time and efforts trying to burn down your project. Thanks.